Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is an Etsy share. Now we're all doing this slow stitch to do with the Roxy Creations projects with all the prompts, and I'm using a lot of these elements in this Etsy share to build my different pieces. And I've had lots and lots of questions about how I find all of the little pieces that I use through my stitchery. So I've had to order a few things because I've picked certain colors to do my embroideries, and one color, for example, the lavender, is just not something I have a lot of. So I went on to Etsy and found some shops that gave me some little packs of things that I could use, so not too much, and a bit of a variety, which I think have turned up now, and they're fantastic. Then I've got one factory that I buy from to help build laces and motifs that I want to tell you about. And I had an order, it's my second order from those guys, so I'll tell you about those. And also, what was the third thing? Oh, I use silk ribbons in my pieces, and I wanted to tell you about where I buy those from. So I'll be telling you about 4 different resources that I use for odds and bods for this type of work. First thing, I purchased the Quilter's Companion Journal diary for 23. Haven't had one of these for years. So I used to get them all the time, probably 10 years ago. And it popped up on my feed somewhere, and I thought, wow, what a fantastic resource. I had forgotten about it. I like the fact that I can not only get inspired by different quilts as I flip through, but I've got space to write general things for me, and then I'm writing where my videos will pop up through the week. So as I create videos in advance, I can sort of write them in. And yeah, it's just, I find a fantastic resource with inspiration of quilts as you go. Just beautiful. So if you're looking for a diary for the year, and you want it to have a bit of a theme to do with embroidery, look at that. Oh, gosh. It often tells you the pattern. It tells you who was the artist. So, yeah. Look at slow stitch. I didn't even know that was in there. Look at that. May. Oh, gorgeous. So what a beautiful space to be in to record the goings on in your life. Look at that pillow. So fantastic. So highly, highly recommend if you're looking for a bit of a diary for your craft table. Look at that. That's beautiful. Anyway, if I take too long, I'll never get through this. So I've written down in the back some of my favorite Etsy stores that are in this video and what I have recently got. So all of these links will be below. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually that I'm going to talk about. The first one is Exquisite Lace, and it's an Australian business, and I got some little packs that will give me a flush of lavenders and things like that. So that's the pack I found. So I'm going to open it and have a quick little bit of thumb through, but I need a tray, so sorry guys, because when I open this, it's going to never go back the way it was. So I've got myself a little beading tray here that I use to wrangle my beads, and I'm going to quickly open them. We'll have a flip through them so you can sort of see what they're about. And as I said, this is an Australian store called Exquisite Lace Shop on Etsy. This pack was $12, which I thought was awesome. For what you get, I think that is really good value. So there's some little rosettes in there, some little pieces of lace. I don't know when I'll ever use that, but you just never know with colour. Some little ones there, some little flowers with the diamantes all in them. This is the piece that caught my eye, and it is great. There's 2. Awesome. That's exactly what I needed. I just needed that one element to drag through the whole section in my pastel garden in these sorts of tones. So that with some stitches will get me there. Some general little pieces. Oh, there's some little flowers. That one there, that's a nice colour. And some lace. That might work in the blue piece. So that's the first one, and I think here are some little elements for scrapbooking. So that's the first one. That's $12, guys. How good is that? It's not bad, and it's so good that it's an Aussie store, because one of these stores is not. It's the going direct to the wholesaler that makes, or the maker of all of these elements, which sometimes you just have to do because it's not available where you are, and you have to bite the bullet and go direct to the manufacturer. And it does mean you get more bigger pieces, where at the end of the day we probably only need little pieces, where these businesses are really, really handy. So this little pack is all about creams, champagnes. That's pretty. Look at that. That's just ready to go to start embellishing. What have we got here? Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. So if you just want a morsel of different things to add to your stash, go and check them out. Look at that. Imagine what you could cut out of that. That would be a piece. That section up here would just look beautiful. Then there's some little white ones, a few little pale blues, some ribbon, a piece of ephemera, and then it's all on a little, that's another one. Gorgeous. Pretty good value for $12, ladies. Now, I didn't check if they ship overseas. I should have done that. I didn't. So I apologize to all my American and English and everywhere else. If that's not the case, I should have checked that. I'm so sorry. But I'm sure if you type in lace bundles, that's what I typed in, these types of stores will pop up, and you're looking for bits of things. So this one was a dusty pink. That one there, how pretty is that? The maple leaves also caught my eye as well. They'll be good for the champagne garden. Look at that piece. Some little timber elements. Is that pretty? That is just inspiration in itself. Some ribbons, and create some rosettes using the two colours, and then pop the little green guy underneath. And then those. And then a couple little pieces of paper. Okay, so that is the pack that I got. There was 3 and they were $12 each. So I think excellent value. And I'm not sure where in Australia the store is. It just has Australia, where the other 2 that I'm going to show you are both in Adelaide. So I'm going to very carefully pop that on there, and I'll wrangle that later, but not bad for what I got for value. So that is Exquisite Lace Shop. I'll just bring that over. Exquisite Lace Shop. They were $12 each, and it's an Australian store. Okay, the next one is, hasn't shipped to me yet, but it is called Boho Tree. Now, I bought some from them a little while ago just to sort of make sure that it came and what it looked like, and it was amazing. So that is all Indian trims. So that's equivalent to going back to the parent country where these things are made, where the lace is predominantly made in China, and you can buy little packs of it from local stores or go back to the actual factory and buy direct. And Boho Tree is the factory that makes the laces. So the next, we'll skip to the next one. Studio Marlow is in Australia and Adelaide, and she has put together some gorgeous little packs that are all boho trims, or if you don't want to use the word boho, it is Indian textile embroidery trims is the correct, category. So Studio Marlow has put together these. Now these were $24 each, which is getting up there, but when you see what you get, seriously, I think they're worth every cent. Look at that. Now I've been quietly collecting little packs of these types of trims because I'm planning a project for later in the year where we celebrate these types of pieces. Isn't that just gorgeous? That's one pack. All right. So that's the first one. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. So that's the first pack, and this is the second pack. Now, as I said, this is an Australian store. I should have checked if they ship overseas. If I have time at the end of the video, we might go and have a quick look at that so that at least you know. So number 2 pack. Oh. See, that in itself could inspire a whole project. You get one little snippet and go, right, there's my colours. Stay within the parameters and you just can't go wrong. And then just start slow stitching, embroidering and gathering. It's just makes it real simple. Look at that. Beautiful. I should have them on black so you can really see the colours pop, but I think you can imagine they're even more beautiful in real life. Just gorgeous. So I'm thinking about what projects can I create that showcase these beautiful pieces of textile. So I'm slowly gathering, and I was just stunned, well, not stunned, I was surprised and happy that I found someone in Australia that I could spend a few coins with, and it was just little bits, so I don't need a lot. Look at that one. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the bird. See, there's a project in itself using those mushroomy tones with the pinks and the turquoises. You could just use that as your palette and away you go. And that's sort of the piece I've got in mind. I don't know yet, and I don't want to say too much because I could change my mind, is I want to create a piece that has just showcases all of these gorgeous elements that I can go to as a colour palette. So I can just look at that and go, I love it, what have they used? And piece together a project to do with it, like a colour wheel, if you will. So we'll see. That's the store, and that was Studio Marlow. There's the business card. Okay, in Adelaide. Now, going back to the lace one that I showed you first, Exquisite Lace, the Australian store. Now, if you need more lace and you're happy to buy bulk, consider going direct to the lace factories. And the world's lace factories are all in China, and they're actually in a major city called Guangzhou. Now, I know Guangzhou really well because of my business. I've got Christmas stores. I'm always over there in the factories creating pieces for my business to sell. So I'm often in the ribbon factories for a start, but I've never been to the lace factories, and I can only imagine what they look like. So I found this store and I did a small order with them, and it came and it's clean and it's beautiful, called Lace Beauty. So if you're right into this stitching and you can handle quantity and meterage of lace and you want to make a bit of an investment, their site is full on. Like, I think there's 2,000 items listed, but it's the factory. So it's definitely worth a bit of a look if you can handle quantity. If you don't want the quantity and you don't want to spend the money, because this was like, I think it was close to a $300 investment. But I got all sorts of interesting laces. Now, these types of laces I just don't see in stores here, like the Spotlights, the Link Crafts. And they've been the same for years. So I'm really looking for different pieces. There are a few American sites that offer different pieces that are well worth having a look at as well. But I come across this one and I thought, wow. And you can get a selection of things that are sort of organzas right through to nylon laces, all sorts of things. And these little packs are really quite luxurious, I think. Look at those. Oh gosh, I haven't unpacked this. Look at that. Do you know how much I could snip out of that? Just that panel. So if you were in Australia, you would get this piece plus lots of other little pieces, which is heaps. And for, you know, $12 from Exquisite Lace, all you would need is that and some other little elements, and you've got a beautiful pack. And that is where most of us would want to be. If you're just playing in this world of slow stitch, that's all you need, is just morsels of things. But if you're like myself, that are doing a lot of projects and I'm just chewing through the textiles, I need to start thinking a little bit bigger. So that's when I start thinking about some of the resources where we go to the factory that actually create these. And they are now showcasing their wares in amongst Etsy stores and eBay, and they have their own websites and they're selling direct to us in our craft rooms, which is pretty exciting. But it might be too much lace for you. So that is the start of the pack of lace that I got from this factory in Guangzhou. So that's the first. That was 2 packs there. Then I grabbed some general pieces that you would see maybe embroidered onto the bodice of a wedding dress. So these are large motifs. Now, when I look at these, I see pieces that I can snip out of there. So that was one that is like got so many little elements. Like you can just take out one of those little flowers and it'll go places. But if you're only ever going to do one gold enhanced piece, this is a waste of money. It really would be. So you sort of have to decide where you are in your craft world. Can you handle quantity or do you need morsels? So here's another one that's a motif. Look at that. Just gorgeous. And if you have a close look at it, you could just about work out how they've done this. And we can reproduce that. Just stab stitches. And I'm showing you the wrong side. Oh, goodness me. But even that looks gorgeous. It's upside down. Look. How much cleaner does that look? But we could do that. So you could easily reproduce that. So that's why if you bought a small pack and this one little piece was in the pack, that would be enough for you to say, okay, now I can see how they've done this in the factory and we can reproduce that. I remember once going to a pottery factory. I import a little bit of pottery, Christmas pottery. And I went to this one city that specialises in nothing but ceramics. The whole city was ceramics and it was twice the size of Melbourne. Like it was massive. And everything in there was dedicated to the craft of pottery. So we went to this one factory and the showroom was just amazing. The Christmas alone was one floor, but then there were other levels through the whole factory, all specialising in candles and harvest, Thanksgiving and Halloween and you name it, it was there. And we were on the very top level. And then I said to them, because you know me, can I please see where it's all made? Because I just wanted to see for myself that A, it was a great place to be as an employee, and B, how the hang did they do all this? So we went through probably 8 floors of the manufacturing of the pottery. So we started with the pouring of the molds and the racks that they put them all on, and it was just mind-blowing, and the raw products right through to, as you got down to the bottom floors, how they put the artwork onto them, the glazing, the painting, the decals that go onto the artwork, and then they're glazed and fired. And then the last area was the packing of them, how they pack them, how they print my artwork to go on the box, to go on around the pot. It was just mind-blowing. I was there for hours. And everyone was so friendly, and they were all chatting because just about everyone spoke English. And I got to sit down at one of the workers' tables, and I got to play with the paints, and it was brilliant. It was just the best place. Anyway, I digress. Can you imagine what a lace factory looks like? Oh boy. Look at that. This one here, look at that. You could nibble out just that piece there with the pearls in it. Like the pearls have got a rose gold. Could you imagine the containers of pearls that these guys have in their factories to make these pieces? Just turning my phone on silent. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's like years and years of supplies here. That one there. Like the light, it looks better in real life. That looks like a dirty gold when I look up at the TV. And see that there? They've put the rose gold in that flower. Like that in itself. Isn't that just gorgeous? Just inspiration. That's why I think there's a project in this, just to sort of capture some of these pieces before they disappear into the abyss of my room. And this is the last one. Isn't that pretty? The rose gold, the little pearls. There's the embroidery in that flower. But see how they've layered the flower? Like these factories that make these pieces, they're just like you and me. They're sitting there working out how to create a slow stitch flower or a flower for a piece of embroidery. And they're using little elements. So there'd be a bucket of these little cut out pieces. That's a spiral. Look at that. That's a spiral of fabric. And they use like these heat presses that cut it out of the fabric and it sort of seals the edge of it so it doesn't fray. So they've created a long little piece, probably about that long. They've spiraled it. They've also embroidered it. Look at that. And then underneath they've put a little petal piece. And then how did they attach that? There's just glue. So that'll come off really easily. And then away you go. Like, look at that stitch. We could reproduce that on our work. A stem stitch, a fly stitch, and then pop a little pearl. Look at that. So that is a big pile of lace motifs, a trim, and laces from Lace Beauty. Now it came really, really quickly and freight was free. And when I had a look at the envelope, it came from Sydney. So I suspect that this factory may have, and this is pretty common because of all the factories I've dealt with my business, is the owner of this factory in China may have some children going to school here in Australia. I just need to close this door here. So Yeah, so what often happens, for example, the factory that makes my Christmas lights for us, one of them, their two sons came to Australia to boarding school and got a fantastic level of education. They then did university, business and commerce, and they've now, one's gone back to China and he is becoming the manager to take over from the father. And the other son, he's decided to stay in Australia. He's fallen in love with an Aussie girl and has started a family and is here to stay. So I suspect that Lace Beauty, and I'm not 100% sure, is actually someone's here in Australia that may be part of the family that owns this business. And as a bit of a side business, often the kids will sell laces to us that just make them some pocket money while they're studying and things like that. So that's what I suspect might be the case with Lace Beauty, but I don't know. It just came within a couple days, the parcel. The freight was free and the variety is massive, so that tells me it's definitely a factory. It does say that it is Guangzhou, but I bet a child of that family is here in Australia. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The last one I wanted to go through is Silk Studio, also in Adelaide. Now, in this project of Roxy's, I use a lot of ribbon to embroider with. Now, it's not satin ribbon, as you would know, that is quite stiff. That's really hard to pull through fabrics. It is a softer ribbon, which is perfect for embroidery. Now, ages and ages ago, I did quite a few orders to create myself a range of ribbons. Now, they are expensive. They are anywhere expensive, but you only use morsels of them. So I sort of worked through her website from time to time and picked up little colour combinations. A lot are variegating, so that's one ribbon and it's just rolling through the different colours. The one below it is a solid. The one below that is a variegated, and you can see that there's a brown in amongst the green. And then this is a solid. I got these little bobbins from Amazon, and they're fantastic for winding on a few different colours of this silk ribbon. Now, Silk Studio is the name. I buy 7mm and I buy 3.5mm. So this is 7mm, this one here, and this is 3.5mm. Do I have a preference? Not really. It really comes down to the piece you're working. You might want quite a thick leaf, or you might want something quite fine. There are other sizes that are bigger, but I haven't found the need for using them. And I bought a couple right at the very beginning from a shop here in Brisbane called All Threads, another place worth checking out because they have all threads, hence the name, and lots of great books too. And I bought a little bit of all of her range, and that sort of gave me a bit of a feel for the sizing and what exactly this silk embroidery was all about. Then I found Silk Studio on Etsy, and she's a lovely Adelaide-based business, 7mm and 3.5mm. So whenever I'm sort of looking for a colour, I'll go and check her out. So I'm assuming she ships overseas. So that is what I have ordered lately or go to regularly. I'm just having a look at my phone here at Silk Studio. So she does packs. See that there? Lots of different ones in a pack. That's why there's such a variety in my box. So about $12, and you get 2 meters of 7 colors at 3.5 in width. So highly recommend Silk Studio. And does she ship overseas? I'm wondering if I can see delivery. ships worldwide. So there you go. Silk Studio ships worldwide. So that's the first question answered. Now let me go back to some of these other places. Let's have a look at this. Oh, Lace Beauty, definitely worldwide. Let's have a look at Marlow. Okay, let's have a look at the shop itself. About, delivery, time I need to process and dispatch. She's got customs mentioned here. So I'm going to say she ships worldwide because she's referring to any extra charges that customs may put on her parcel sending to you. So I'm going to say that those laces that I've got, that Indian embroidery packs that I got from her, but she does everything. She's got all sorts of things on her store. They are definitely available to go overseas. So the next store we went through was Exquisite Lace. So this is morsels of what you could get from the factory themselves. Shipping policies. Welcome to the world of exquisite lace. She doesn't say, but I bet she does. Only assumption is that the parcels were quite flat and small. So I suspect that she could easily pop those in the mail for overseas. It would be worth the question if you did go that way. Now, who else did we go through? I think that's it. So we've done the two if you want small amounts from little shops on Etsy. And then we've got the bigger amounts if you went to the factories, so the Guangzhou one and then Boho tree. That parcel hasn't arrived yet, but it cost a fortune, but you get bigger pieces. So like that's a remnant pack, and you get options of how many pieces in your pack. So very quickly you could jump up to $35. Let's click on that one, for example, and you get quite a pile of pieces in your pack, different lengths and different pieces. So that's going direct to the factory in India. That one hasn't arrived yet. New Delhi, India. Yeah, beautiful. Definitely worth a look too. So I guess the big thing is to decide what you actually need. Don't waste money on things that you really only want a little bit of. Go and, yeah, maybe find someone like that one and that one and that one, those three, to just get a morsel of everything you need. Now, the last thing I will show you, which is come from my own backyard, is flowers. And now they're everywhere in the way of flowers that shops sell for Christmas or embellishing your home. These are poinsettias that I sell within my business, and I get these made overseas, and we use them to decorate our Christmas trees within the business. But I started getting one of everything, and I brought it home to my craft room and I pulled it apart. So this would be a poinsettia that the factory's created. Actually, I think this was a magnolia by the shape of those little leaves. That would have been a magnolia. And that would have been the poinsettia. And then there would have been a stamen in here, then the wire, and maybe some green leaves. So I've pulled them apart, made a hang of a mess with glitter, as you can imagine. But these are a wonderful source of velveteeny type fabrics. So just something to think of when you're out and about. If you see in your home decorating stores or even the spotlights, just one flower, or even have a look through their damage section. You might find a flower that has been just roughed up by everyone playing with it through the Christmas season, or even around Easter, some magnolias might come out for decorating purposes, Mother's Day. Pick it up. It might be a small amount of money, and you can pull it apart and cut out a little flower So remembering back to how the factory in China created these types of things, well, we can do that out of some of these products. Now in China, when they make my flowers, these are massive rolls of fabric, these velour velveteens, and I just pick a big roll of fabric. I then lay a couple other colors with it, some lighter pinks and things like that, and then I go to their showroom and I'll pick a flower design I like, and then they will put together that particular flower for me. So same principle, cutting it out and then building up to create the flower and putting a little stamen of something inside. In my case, it's often a glittered little plastic piece that then is embellished with glitter, sequins, beads, and then inserted into the center of the flower as they build up the shape. So if you went to that flower factory, these are all the pieces sitting on the tables, and then the staff start building them together to create the magnolia or the poinsettia. So my point is, have a look around in our world of home decorating and you will be surprised the fabrics that you could find from getting in amongst all of those types of things. So I've got a container of silvers, whites, reds, champagne, gold, and blues. And whenever I see a flower, even if it's not from my own business, they're everywhere. Oh, and it's, you know, reduced because it's a bit damaged. I grab it, pull it apart, and just add those fabrics to my stash. So another economical way of getting, you know, bits and pieces for your projects. Okay, everyone, I think that's all I wanted to say on this video. I will put the list of these stores down below. I added that one purely because we're doing a lot of embroidery at the moment. So I'm going to be doing ribbon embroidery in my pieces, and I can bet your bottom dollar everyone will say, where did you get it from? So I thought I might as well add it on here. Plus I had these couple deliveries arrive, and when the boho tree from India delivers, I will do another Etsy share just to sort of show you what it all looked like. Okay, everyone. Look after yourselves. Happy shopping if you decide to go and spend a few coins somewhere. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.